Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
I'm Nathan.
And I'm Sara.
Welcome to episode 136 of Adventures and Mousecapades. This week, we've been watching the Olympics, and I am living for all of the memes that are coming out of this Olympics. We've got Pommel Horse Guy. We've got, I'm sure there's been a couple gymnastics ones. And the one that I saw today was the target practice guy, you know.
The pistol guy.
No eye protection, no ear protection, hand in his pocket wearing flip-flops. And he won the silver.
Yeah, you know, as you do. Cool. Well, this week, other than the Olympics, we have Sara on from Axis Travel Group. And we're going to talk about kind of being a travel agent and helping folks have and build amazing vacations. We've known Sara for over 2 decades at this point, or I may bleep that number out, back to when we were all a bit younger and having fun and kid-free. So, yeah, it's been a while. She's an amazing friend, and we're so happy to share her stories and perspectives with you all. So, welcome, Sara.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So, first off, can you tell us a little bit about kind of your Disney history, since we are mostly a Disney-centric podcast? I know you travel agents like to do all sorts of things, but if we can focus on Disney, kind of what's your history? What's your CV? Did you grow up going to the parks and stuff?
I did. It all started with my 3rd birthday in Disneyland.
Oh, wow.
When Mickey Mouse came out and they sang me, well, Mickey didn't sing, but they sang me happy birthday at one of the restaurants there. And I've been in love ever since. We didn't go a lot when I was a kid. We went a few times, and I went to Disney World for the first time as an adult. But I've always been, you know, in love and enamored with Disneyland, and went a lot more when I was an adult without kids.
Yeah. Those are great trips.
They
for
are.
sure.
Other people's kids.
Yeah.
Too.
Speaking of kids, you have 2 awesome kids now.
I do.
Almost 8 and 6.
Almost, yeah.
How does Disney factor into your life these days?
Well, you know, my daughter is almost 6, and she's all about all of the princesses. And my son is going to grow up to be a theater kid. So he is all about playing the characters and learning all the songs and the musicals. He just performed as Grumpy in his theatrical debut.
Excellent.
And yeah, so they love the parks. They have been only to Disneyland twice. They've been on a Disney cruise, and we're gearing up for our very first Disney World trip as a big family. So
Awesome.
They're a little spoiled and have a unique window into the world, going to Disney a lot.
It is a privilege that we get to spoil our kids like that, for sure.
For sure.
So you've had quite the career journey, and we won't go into all of it, but you know, when we met a few years ago, we'll say, you were a police officer, and thank you so much for keeping us and everybody else safe. What has led you towards being a travel agent or becoming a travel agent?
That's a good question. So I loved being a first responder and helping people, and just getting to interact with the community. That was the big thing for me, is meeting new people and helping people along the way. And I did retire kind of in the middle of COVID. I decided that I would do an early retirement once I had kids. Just schedule-wise is not super conducive to being a solo parent. And so when I left the police department, I had no plan. It was the middle of COVID. I moved out of state, and I actually ended up connecting with a friend who was a mentor when I was in high school, and she is a bookkeeper, and she hired me on as a bookkeeper trainee. And so I've been doing that. But the travel bug it doesn't go away once it's bitten you. And bookkeeping does not pay for travel. So I was planning a lot of trips for people. I've always been the person in the group that plans all the trips for everybody all the time. And I was planning for a group that wanted to go on a Disney cruise, 2 different groups actually. And I got to thinking, why am I doing all of this when I could be doing this as a job? And so I talked to a few travel agents, and that's when I started researching and pretty quickly decided that that was what I wanted to do. So now I do both bookkeeping and travel agency work, and they're both full-time jobs, and I'm very busy.
But you get to make your own schedule to a certain degree.
Exactly.
So it's
for
easier
both, actually.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you can at least work it in with being that mom and 2 active kids and all that rest of that stuff that's going on. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great because I can volunteer in the classrooms and be there when my kids need me and work when work needs me.
How did you choose a path to becoming a TA, and did you have to do special training?
Good question. So I was obviously helping other people plan, and there's a group that we were looking at a Disney cruise. And when we started talking about this, we were at kind of a family reunion, for lack of a better term. And I ended up staying up all night researching all of our best options and when to go and everything that we needed to know. And on that family reunion, I had also put together that family reunion for everybody. And everybody just kept saying, gosh, you've just planned everything for us. You've thought of everything. You've thought of all the little details for us. You've made it so easy. We've just shown up. And so that was my goal is if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to be all in and help. Kind of my motto is let mom have a vacation too, because the moms notorious are the ones doing a lot of the planning. Not always Nathan, but a lot of the time. And so I just started researching agencies. There are a lot of agencies out there. There are a lot that specialize in Disney. And while I really wanted to focus on Disney, I have extensive cruise history. Mm-hmm. And so I really did not want to limit myself exclusively to Disney.
Sure.
But I wanted an agency that provided good training, that didn't just give me the keys to the kingdom and let me go, that would be constantly mentoring and teaching and helping. So that is kind of how I came to be a travel agent. And then once I got hooked up with the agency and I interviewed at a couple, once I found one that was a good match mutually, I went through kind of an onboarding training with them. And then also did Disney's College of Knowledge and some similar programs that kind of teach travel agents everything that you need to know about the product and the vendor and how to work with them and kind of insider information. So it's an ongoing process. There's always vendor trainings to be done and always new things to learn. I mean, just this week we learned all about the Disney Destiny. So that's a whole new, chapter that we have to delve into and learn about and get to know before there's really a lot to know about it.
Yep. For folks who've grown up in modern times of being able to book everything on websites and have we've all learned to self-service all of this stuff. What does a travel agent do? Why should somebody use a TA versus just going all on their own?
Well, when you use a travel agent, you're not paying any more. When you book directly with, let's say, Disney, you are paying the same amount that you would pay with a travel agent, and that's where the customer service ends. But with a travel agent, you're going to get a bigger package. You're going to get more bang for your buck. So one of the big things that I do is I monitor for promotions. If a promotion comes up, pretty rare in the Disney cruise line industry, but very standard with Disney World, Disneyland, promotions are constantly coming out. And one of the cool things about Disney is when those promotions happen, I can go in and adjust reservations that have already been made and apply those promotions.
Got it.
So monitoring promotions is a big deal. Monitoring deadlines when your excursion window opens or when your dining window opens, or, we all know with Disney Cruise Line, your online check-in is very important if you're not taking Disney transportation because you want to get on the ship as soon as possible.
Right.
So those are things that I walk my clients through. I prepare them for those. I'm also making payments if they want to do a payment plan. And I'm monitoring for anything that comes up. Like this week, right now, I have a couple people that are cruising down in Florida and there's some weather coming in. So I'm monitoring those things for them so that they don't have to. They can just sit back and relax and know that if there's an issue, I will let them know. And the big thing is if a problem does happen, obviously I'm the one on the phone with Disney, not the client. So they can go about what they're doing. And I'm the one that's going to sit on hold if there's a problem and work out those problems while they don't have to.
Got it.
The other thing that I do, and it's a big deal for parks clients, is they will get a really detailed, personalized guide into the parks. And then I do a one-on-one phone call with everybody a couple of days before they go into the parks and teach them how to book lightning lanes and how to modify lightning lanes and how to do mobile dining and all those things so that they're not waiting in line. And I have something similar for Disney cruises. It obviously looks a little bit different, but really helping people maximize their time in the parks.
Are most of your folks kind of first timers into the Disney bubble, or do you have a lot of vets? Like with the level of service that you were just talking about, it feels like a lot of first timers are reaching out.
You would be surprised. I do have a lot of first timers. I do have a lot of people that are regular park goers that are looking for tips and tricks. And just with Disney specifically, things are constantly changing. Just last month, they changed from Genie, which is still relatively new. They switched from Genie to Lightning Lane Multipass. And there's just different things that are constantly changing. So even if you go every other year, let's say, things can look completely different from one trip to the next. I would say that I have a really good mix of people that go. And I also have helped some DVC clients because they're looking for ticket help and party ticket help and, just being able to maximize their time in the parks because maybe they want to do something they haven't done before.
Yeah. 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 We need to use TAs more because I like our horror story was being on our Panama Canal cruise in March of 2020. And the world came to an end and they announced, Disneyland's closing and all the rest of that stuff the day we were transiting the canal. And I'm so glad we at least had cell phone coverage in Panama because I could get online and change, flights and things like that. But it was, doing that from, thousands of miles and half a continent away and all the rest of that stuff was a little stressful. It would have been much easier to just, text yourself or somebody else and go, hey, so the world's ending. Can I get a flight home that's on a different day?
Well, you never need a travel agent until you do.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're glad. It's kind of like travel insurance.
Indeed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We definitely have travel insurance.
Yeah,
yes.
for sure. Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Yes.
Highly recommended.
How are travel agents compensated? I know you said earlier that there's no extra cost to those that are using a travel agent. So how are you compensated?
Some travel agents will tell you their services are free. Some will tell you that they're complimentary. They're included in the price of the package. So when you pay Disney, you are paying for travel agent services. They have built travel agent commissions into the cost of your trip. So we get paid after you travel. So let's say I book a trip for you a year and a half in advance. Everything that I do leading up to your trip is going to be, I'm not getting paid for it at that time. And then when you get home, then Disney will send a commission to my travel agency host, and then they pay us.
Got it.
So even if you don't use a travel agent, you're technically still paying for it in the cost of the trip.
You are paying for customer service that you're not utilizing.
Yeah, you're increasing Disney's profit margin.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Disney just takes that and puts it in their pocket.
Right. Thank you very much. So how does your job as a travel agent compare to what you thought it would be? What's been the biggest surprise, getting a peek and being behind the curtain and pulling some of those levers behind the curtain?
It is a lot harder than I thought it would be in the sense that there are so many moving pieces for every vacation. I think cruises are a little bit easier than, say, a parks visit, but even a cruise, you have a lot of deadlines that you're managing. You have some clients that want to do payment plans. So you're managing, are they on a set date of the month? And then we're talking about booking hotels, booking transportation. And some clients want to do those all-inclusive kind of through Disney. Some people want to piecemeal that. All the things. And it's my job to think about the things that they don't think that they need. Like strollers is a really good example. A lot of people with kids, my kids' age, almost 6 and 8, would think, oh, I'm going to the parks. I don't need a stroller. My kids haven't been in a stroller for years. Well, I'm going to tell you the reasons why you might want to consider a stroller. And then if you want one, then I'm going to work through getting that reservation, getting it delivered to your hotel and all of those things. So I'm super detail oriented, and I thank my lucky stars for that because I have spreadsheets and lists and color-coded calendars and a lot of things to make sure that I don't miss anything for any client because that would be, oh my gosh, horrible.
Not good.
what's been the biggest surprise about being a travel agent?
The biggest surprise is just, and it shouldn't be a surprise, it's the connections that I've made. I feel like my clients have become friends. I start with most clients with an intake call where we talk about their family and how they like to travel and what's important to them on this vacation, if they're celebrating anything. And through those conversations, even though sometimes they're only, 20 minutes, I really feel like I make a connection with a lot of people, and it's fun to be invited into somebody's personal world and help them plan their personal travel. And so I've just met some really amazing people, even in my short time. It's been really cool.
That's awesome. So we often see travel agents on cruises with us. Is that on the job research? Is that paid? Like what are some of those perks you get there?
So free travel is not a thing for travel agents. We are paying for out of pocket. Now, there are some agencies that will offer like reward trips. If you are, one of their top sellers, different things like that come from your host agency. But for the most part, travel agents are paying their own way. Sometimes we can get a travel agent rate. There is a thing called a CLIA card, and you have to sell a certain amount to be authorized to get that card. It's kind of an industry standard card, and every host agency sets up the threshold for their agents to be able to apply for that. Once you get that does qualify you for travel agent discounts, say with Disney. Occasionally, not very often, there are cruises that you can get at a discount. So they are paying for them. We are paying for them just at a reduced rate. And the real advantage is we are in the system all the time. So I know when the best time to go is, and I know how to look for those deals and score those deals. And, I really love to cruise with people. So one of the things that I like to do is coordinate cruises for other people with similar interests. So I have a couple of those on the books coming up.
Nice.
Because it's fun. It's a work trip. It's a write-off, and I get to connect with people. It's the best of all worlds.
Got to work all the angles you can.
Mm-hmm. Do travel agents specialize in specific areas?
They can. Personally, I try to only book things that I have experience with. Now, I've traveled to 28 countries. I've been on 5 continents, so I have a lot of experience. There are some travel agents, my agency owner, for example, she only books Disney and Disney Cruise. That is it. She does Universal sometimes, but those are kind of her meat and potatoes. That's where she chooses to specialize because she's exceptional at it. There's some people that just choose to specialize in cruising. There are some agents, we don't have any in our agency, but that specialize in like a national park, that kind of land tour. So agents can specialize in things. I strongly recommend when working with a travel agent, finding out if they have experience in the area that you want to travel. You want somebody that is experienced in the area that you want to travel, but also somebody that can grow with you as your horizons broaden.
Yeah. Can you talk to us about like how somebody would go through that process? How do you find a travel agent to work with? Like kind of approaching it from the outside, that seems like, I don't know, you just call somebody and you get whoever you get, and then you're stuck with them, right? Like, but the way you're talking about it, it sounds like it's a more dynamic process. Like, what's your recommendation on how people should go about finding a great travel agent that not only is going to meet their needs, but is going to be kind of a good match for them to find and to help them, find what they want to do and get the best out of their vacation?
I think in this day and age, a lot of it comes down to social media. I actually found my agency owner on TikTok. I just was really drawn to her. She was doing really good, informative videos. She knew what she was talking about. I felt like she was really open and honest. And then I went over to Facebook and found her, and she had a lot of client reviews that were really, really positive. And that's the thing. One thing I've really learned through this is leave reviews for people on Facebook. And I need to be better about that myself. But that is really where I tell people, go look at my reviews. That is a great way. Word of mouth is a really great way. But I think social media is probably the best way in this day and age if you don't know somebody, to just find an agency that you are interested in, or go find somebody talking about what you want to do. So if you want to go on a Disney cruise line, type in Disney Cruise Line and just see what people are talking about. I think you'll know pretty quickly if they know what they're talking about or if they don't.
Yeah.
But it can be overwhelming, and don't be afraid to ask questions. I really respect my clients that come in and have said, what is your experience here? How can you help me? What do you have to offer? Why should I not go book with the big box store that sells toilet paper? And I'll be honest and I'll tell you. And if I think that you're better suited if I don't specialize in what you are interested in, or I don't have experience there, but I know somebody who does, I will pass off clients. And I have done that to people that I think are a better fit for them.
Got it. Yeah. It's not all about finding the best price. Like you do get what you pay for. And in the case with most travel agents, like you're just paying that base rate anyway. So it doesn't cost you any more to go find a really great travel agent to work with.
Yeah. I want to add one thing, because this does come up on social media a lot. If you're working with a reputable travel agency, make sure that you are paying the vendor directly. So as a travel agent, people never Venmo me. I never accept payments or checks from clients. I collect a customer's credit card information and I make the payment directly with Disney. So on their statement, it says Disney.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to avoid a scam, as you should not be paying your travel agent directly unless you're doing some kind of specific group trip.
Right. Right. That makes sense.
And some travel agents do charge a planning fee if what they're doing has a lot of moving pieces or the commission's really poor in an area. So if a commission is not a standard commission, or they're doing a lot of extra work, some agents do charge a planning fee for those extra services on top of what the vendor provides. But they should be very upfront about them before you get started.
Yeah. When should people reach out to a travel agent? Is there a too soon or a too late type thing?
No and no. You can reach out. I recommend reaching out as soon as you are thinking about traveling. Generally speaking, you will get a better price if you book farther in advance of your trip. It's for sure true for a Disney cruise. The sooner you book with a Disney cruise, the sooner to when the itineraries drop, the better. If you can book your Disney cruise on the day that the itinerary is released for you, whether you're a Castaway Club member or a first-time cruiser, that's going to be your best price. It's always going to lock in your best price. Cruises specifically, as the cabins sell, the price goes up, and we never know when the price is going to go up, if it's going to go up in a matter of hours or if it's going to be months. So booking early. Disney has an amazing cancellation policy. Basically, up until final payment, it's 100% refundable. So you're not in danger of losing a deposit and that goes for the park packages as well as Disney Cruise Line. And depending on what you want to do, I can book travel the next week or within a couple of days. You might not get exactly what you want. You might not get the best price, but I can probably find you space. So it's a fine balance. For example, Disneyland is not booking right now for 2025 yet. I have people that want to go in January. So I have a list. As soon as those dates open up, I'm going to go get quotes for those people. So there's not a too early. You're just going to be on a list. Yeah. And there's not a too late. We can find you something.
So I'm going to ask an inside baseball question. And you may know, you may not. You may not be able to say. So like Disney World is booking hotels and resorts and things like 12 to 18, sometimes 24 months out. And then Disneyland is like, well, we'll let you know next week if we really want, like, it's not that bad, but it's not nearly as far out. What's the deal? Is that it? Well, I mean, obviously it's intentional, but like, is there logic behind that?
They are two completely separate entities. Yeah. They have completely different policies. They have completely different ways of doing things. Disneyland, I think, just likes to be different. Yeah. Some might argue difficult. They're just different. And once you kind of figure those out, it does help. But, for example, with the whole Lightning Lane multi-pass, they made a ton of changes at Disney World, including the name change. Mm-hmm. At Disneyland, they made 0 changes except for the name change, which is very confusing for everybody. Uh-huh. It's still operating under the Genie system, but it's just called something different. They just operate very different.
I didn't realize that. Like, so like they don't have the advanced booking and all the rest of that stuff. It's still the same.
Correct. So if you are somebody that likes to stack your lightning lanes and modify your lightning lanes,
still do
you are
that.
still in luck in Disneyland. But the big difference, and Disneyland has always been different about this, you have to scan into the park before you can book your first lightning lane. So you cannot lay in your bed at 7 a.m. and book your first lightning lane like you used to be able to at Disney World.
I'm glad we're having this conversation now because we're going in like 6 days.
Oh, yeah. I'll send you my guide.
I wonder if it's just because it is more of a locals park than anything else. Like the majority of the people that go to Disneyland are locals that live in California.
Yeah.
Maybe, but they are, magic key holders are blocked out on a lot of weekends. Typically people think that weekends are a bad time to go to the park. I think they're actually a great time to go to park because many of the locals are not there because their tickets won't get them in on those days. It's just a very different beast. Dining is handled differently at Disneyland. Everything is handled different.
I'm waiting for, I think, I have 6 more days and then I can book my Oogie Boogie dessert package.
Okay. Well, you got Oogie Boogie tickets, so consider yourself a winner.
Yes. Although we had to leverage Michaela to help us out with that because she had like the magic, I don't know, portal into their website, and we kept getting like way back in the queue.
Yeah.
And she was
Michaela
always
knows
up towards
all
the front.
the things.
Yep.
Yeah, I point people her direction all the time. I'm like, if you want extra insider information, this is who to go to.
Awesome.
She's great.
What are some common misconceptions or assumptions that people make about working with a TA that you would love to correct?
I think that people often, Nathan, you hit on this earlier, think that TAs are kind of outdated. Since the days of paper plane tickets, people think that, that's the only reason you used a travel agent, right? Was to go to the office and pick up your book of airplane tickets.
Right.
But there's so much that we have to offer. So people sometimes think that we're antiquated. You can just go do it yourself. You can do a lot of it yourself, but there are a lot of extra perks that come when you book with a travel agent. Not Disney specific, but other cruise lines. Sometimes we can get a better rate than you can get online, or we can get you some onboard credit that you can't get online. So those are some added perks. And, I think that customer service in general has sort of fallen away from a lot of things. And there is still some really exceptional customer service to be had. Like I make packets for my clients and I send them in the mail, and it's nothing fancy. It's like a door magnet if you're going on a cruise, and, some information about the port city. And, if you're going to the parks first, I'm going to send you some parks maps, just some fun stuff for your kids. It's nothing fancy, but it's just that extra touch. So there's still some great customer service to be had out there.
We have our good friends Tim and Audie. They're travel agents, and
I talked to Audie before I decided to become an agent.
So
she helped a lot.
She sends laundry bags, or at least used to. I don't know what they do these days, but when we've worked with them on stuff in the past, like same thing, some magnets or this or that. But we still have their laundry bags that we use on the cruises. They're in our cruise box, and they go with us on every single cruise.
And I love that you have a cruise box, because I have a cruise box and a park box and an airplane box, and people think I'm nutty.
No, otherwise these things wander around, and then you wind up buying another set from Amazon when you're ready to go. So
we have our travel box. We have our tech box. Yeah.
All the stuff.
All the stuff.
So speaking of kind of getting everything in your brain and arranged when you're ready to go, what are some of the things, what are some of the decisions or ideas or I guess decisions people should have landed internally before they reach out to a travel agent? I would imagine, your worst case scenario is somebody just calling up and saying, hi, Sarah, I'd like to go on vacation. Can you book that for me? And it's like, okay, where do I even start? Like, how much should somebody have figured out what they want to do first?
People contact me like that regularly. And so one of the things that I'll do in my consult call, if they really don't know, most people have it in their mind, they just haven't really expressed it.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about, if you have kids, are you willing to take your kids out of school? Because that might narrow down the window.
Yeah.
what kind of trip do you want? Do you want sunshine, beach? Do you want to go to Alaska? Those are things that can kind of help reel in your trip. Are you wanting to go to a theme park? Or you rather try something new like a cruise? If any information that you can give your travel agent when you start is helpful. There's nothing worse than going down a whole rabbit hole with people and giving them quotes at Disney World, and they're like, "Oh, I really think that we're going to go to Disneyland instead," because that's a whole different,
Right.
it's a whole different ball game.
Right.
But that being said, some people honestly don't know, and they need a travel agent to help them decide where they want to go and talk through the pros and cons of each destination. And I would love to do that. I talk kind of regularly about Disney World versus Disneyland. What's the better fit? What fits your timeline the best? What fits your travel needs the best? And your budget. Those things all come into play.
What have been some highlights so far about your work as a TA?
One of the big highlights is my agency owner kind of pinpointed me for leadership pretty early on. So I've been able to come on as the cruise mentor for our agency because I have traveled on a lot of different cruise lines, and I lived on a ship in college on a semester at sea program. So I have a lot of really unique insight into living on a ship, being on the ocean. And it's been really fun. I get to work with new agents who have onboarded and kind of be their point person when they're booking a cruise for the first time, or they're considering taking a cruise for the first time. I can walk them through all the things that are important with cruising. Where's your stateroom going to be? Is it important to be midship? Or maybe you want to be after forward? Do you want to be high or low? Let's avoid nightclubs if you got little kids. All the things I can walk them through and teach them through. And so it's been really fun to work with new agents in our agency and be pegged for leadership and be part of this really phenomenal leadership team in our agency.
That's awesome.
And then I have really been able to connect with a community of other moms like me who had children by choice on their own. And so I have connected, built this network kind of by accident of single moms who are looking for other solo moms to travel with. And we have several cruises planned. We have 32 families going together in May on a Disney cruise.
Wow.
And
That's amazing.
it's really cool for us to be able to normalize it for our kids and bond with one another with similar stories. So that's been really cool.
That's awesome. I can't imagine the amount of logistics to figure 32
there's a lot.
different parties out. Oh my gosh.
There's
What
a
ship
lot.
are you going on?
We're going on your favorite, the Wonder,
Excellent.
from San Diego up to Vancouver. So it's great.
Oh,
It's 3
nice.
sea days, no ports, and it's going to be amazing as long as it's not raining.
Well,
And it's not going to rain.
no promises.
I called it in.
Okay,
There's
fair
no
enough.
rain.
So travel agents can guarantee that you have control over the weather, just like Disney has
Yeah,
control over the weather. You can,
sadly, I don't.
Yeah.
But there are no mosquitoes at Disney World. Have you noticed that? It's
well,
strange.
there's reasons. We'll just leave it there. As we're wrapping up this part of the discussion, do you have any notable trips that a client has booked that you wish you were going on?
Oh, very many. Very, very many. I had a client that recently went to Disneyland Paris. She actually lives in California and has never taken her kids to Disneyland because she just hasn't wanted to deal with it. But they were going to be in Paris a couple weeks ago, so she took them to Disneyland Paris. And that was really cool to learn. I did a lot of research before I booked her so that I made sure I did everything right. And I sought out training and mentorship. And what an exceptional park. So now all of the international Disney parks are on my list. I've booked quite a few Alaska cruises. Now, I have cruised to Alaska, but it's been a handful of years. So, the ships are going to new places now. There are not as many going to Glacier Bay, so they're exploring other places. So now I have to go back to Alaska. And they're just, I've booked some really cool cabins on some of the ships, some of the suites, and some of the concierge levels that are just really spectacular. And then, of course, at Disney World, you've got all of the amazing deluxe resorts. And I've booked some clients in some really amazing rooms, and I have some serious travel envy.
Well, someday you've got to have something on your list of
Exactly.
things to get to.
I have quoted a few. I haven't booked any Adventures by Disney, but those trips are really something special. The mentality of, I'm surprised you guys haven't been on an
I'm
Adventures
pushing
by
hard
Disney
for
trip.
2026.
Yeah, we have our eye on the ball on a
Yes.
couple options in 26.
They have a travel mentality that's very similar to what I experienced on Semester at Sea, where you go into a country and you experience a country as much as a traveler as possible instead of being a tourist. Like when you get off a big ship and you have 4,000 people inundating a small town, you are a tourist. But when you are off the beaten path, when you're doing things that locals do, that is what Adventures by Disney does so exceptionally well. And very, very similar frame of mind and really going and not putting our American spin on things, but really taking in a country or a destination for what it has to offer its locals and really enjoying it that way. It's a whole different way to see the world.
Yeah, it's more of an authentic travel experience of
sure.
being in that spot. Yeah.
Yep. We're really good at planning trips 18 months or so in advance, which is why I said 2026, because we've already got stuff planned from now until the end of next year.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you going to be booking on the Disney Destiny?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Eventually, absolutely. It's not the Wish doing the 3 nights, 4 nights, which those are
They're still real short.
those are too short. It's doing mostly 4s and 5s. I think there may be some 6s or something thrown in here and there. They haven't released all the itinerary details yet. I think there's going to be an option for like a Western Caribbean, like 6 night or 5 night or something like that, that'll go to Cozumel. I think we might do that just to experience that ship, but largely it's going to be Bahamas based, and that we've kind of Bahama'd out to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's kind of a bummer they all go to Nassau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we always stay on the
branch
ship in
out.
Nassau. Yeah.
It's a
Me
sea
too.
day.
Yeah. I'm very excited for our treasure sailing in February. The Destiny, there's not really anything on there that is seriously grabbing my attention. I love that they have a Pirates bar on there. That's really cool. I'm a little disappointed that they're doing the Haunted Mansion bar again. And Haunted Mansion is my absolute favorite, but I kind of want them to do something different that sets it apart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's
We'll get
interesting.
on
That
there
was kind of
eventually.
my feeling as well. I'm
Yeah.
really excited about my trip on the Treasure next summer and Destiny. I want to get on her, but it won't be in those first couple months, I don't think.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's, I don't feel the need to, I don't have FOMO about not doing an inaugural. Look,
I want to do a maiden someday. I seriously want to do a maiden.
we've
But
been
we're
talking
gonna be
about
on-
that for a long
And
time.
let's get Michaela.
Yes, absolutely.
But we're going to be on the Magic next November. And
Yes.
we haven't been on the Magic since
Right.
2009.
Right.
So
Yeah, we
love
needed
the
to get
Magic.
back on the Magic. And that's doing, we're
double,
going to leave from San Juan. It's hitting in Puerto Rico, and it's going to go to Lighthouse Point, and it's going to go to Castaway, and then head to Galveston. So we missed Nassau.
I almost booked that cruise. I'm not joking. I almost booked that cruise. When
We're
it came
excited
out.
to be on board.
Yeah, it just looked amazing.
We would have sailed together. That would have been so fun.
There's still
and that's
time.
That's
Too
just
late now. I have 5 cruises planned in 2025.
Fair enough.
that's just a me and Nathan cruise because Sterling will be in school. So
Yeah.
adults cruise. Yeah.
See, my kids are still little enough. It's hard to take them out of school for cruising, but we are doing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's difficult to take them out of school, but when they get older, then you really don't want to do that. And I think we've crossed that threshold, at least for us. Different parents have different opinions on that, and I throw no shade or judgment. For us, once kind of middle school hit, 4th grade, I think. Well, I mean, and then part of that was during COVID and stuff too. So, but once we're past 4th or really kind of past 5th grade, we were like, school's gonna.
We'll pull them out for a day or two, like a Friday or a Monday, because I'm doing that for his birthday. But
not for a week.
the week-long middle of school trips, we're past those now.
That's what grandparents are for, and they can stay with the Sterling. And, we'll be good.
Sounds dreamy.
Yeah.
Okay, pull us back again. Is there anything else that you want to share?
Can we go back a little bit?
Of course.
Okay. I wanted to share, there's a lot of talk about earmarked travel agencies and authorized Disney vacation planners. It's the same thing. Really what that means, if an agency is earmarked, they sell a lot of Disney.
Right.
So don't be afraid to book with a travel agent that might not be with an earmarked agency. It simply means that they might be with a smaller agency or a newer agency that hasn't sold that volume to get to earmarked. And some of the biggest names in the business are these really elite level earmarked agencies. They have a lot of travel agents. A lot of them, I'm sure, are really, really good. I worked with a really large agency in the past, and it's a great place to start your looking for a travel agency, but don't let a non-earmarked agency scare you away.
Got it. So it's a sign of quantity, not really quality. You can get quality from a boutique small agency just as well as you could from, one of the big dogs that just has sold a lot of volume. So
it is going to depend really on your agent. That's going to be the make or break. My agency is earmarked, but you're going to get a different level of service from everybody. I think that all of our agents give a really good level of service. But again, I'm not the client working with each individual person. So it's going to come down to the agent because we are all independent contractors. We work for a host agency. We're sponsored by a host agency. We're affiliated with them, but we are all independent contractors and all in charge of our own working dynamic and how we choose to service clients.
Right. That makes sense. All right. Well, Sarah, it's now time for Alicia's patented Disney torture test. So good luck with that.
Yikes. Okay.
This is easy. It's just your Disney favorites from Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel, basically anything that is under Mickey's umbrella. Your favorite character?
Judy Hopps.
Nice.
Are you
On
surprised?
brand. On brand. Yeah.
Yeah. Closely followed by Dumbo.
Okay, that's fair.
There you go. Your favorite movie?
I'm going to have to say Inside Out 2. It's so good.
It is.
So good. And it helped me explain my anxiety to my children in a way that they could comprehend. It was so great.
Oh, that's cool. I've seen many parents go like, oh, this is like an instruction manual. I wish I really would have understood this. And the fact that you were able to flip that coin and go like, see, kids? That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Your favorite ride?
I can't. That is just not fair. Oh, gosh.
They're going to get worse, Sarah. So just...
It can change. At this moment, if you could go on any ride, what ride would you go on?
Tower of Terror.
Okay.
Nice.
So good. So good. And I might be the only one that thinks this, but it's just, I love the Guardians ride, but I miss Tower of Terror.
That's fair.
Guardians gave us appreciation for Tower of Terror.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Disney World or Disneyland?
Disneyland in a heartbeat. It's Walt's Park. It's intimate. It's home for me. I think they say that your first park is always going to be your preference, but it just, you feel Walt's fingerprints there. I love it.
Yeah.
Out of all of the individual parks, which one is your favorite? So like Epcot, Hollywood Studios, Disneyland, California.
It's going to be
Adventure.
Disneyland.
Yeah.
They have roller coasters. They have all the things. There's just so much more packed into Disneyland than its counterpart, Magic Kingdom. I love it.
Yeah.
I could spend a week and have spent a week at Disney.
Yeah, there's so many rides.
And things to do, look, nooks and crannies and things to experience. Yeah.
There's a lot of hidden stuff for sure. Your favorite hotel or resort?
Now that's a tricky one because my on-property experience has not been recent. We are staying at Port Orleans Riverside this summer and Yacht Club. So we're staying at Port Orleans Riverside in one of the Royal Guest Suites, which I'm completely obsessed with because they're princess themed rooms and they're like absolutely precious. So I will report back.
Okay.
Excellent.
Your favorite DCL ship?
The Magic. It's the original, the OG, the GOAT. Maybe not the GOAT, but and I really love small ships. From my time on semester at sea, you would laugh if I showed you a picture of how tiny that ship was. We went through 3 typhoons, 40-foot swells crashing over the bow. I love a small ship where I can get everywhere in just a couple of minutes and you get to know everybody on the ship. I love it.
Awesome.
Your favorite Disney restaurant?
These are really not fair.
I told you it was a torture test.
Well, I'm going to stick with Disneyland, and I'm going to say the Blue Bayou, because who doesn't love Pirates of the Caribbean, the long version?
The real version.
The real version.
The non-abridged.
Yes.
Right. And just being in there with the fireflies. And, I'm a Pacific Northwest girl. We don't have fireflies. So it's just, I can live vicariously through the fake ones at the Pirates ride at Blue Bayou.
Excellent.
Last one. Favorite Disney snack?
The way your face fell.
That was a
is
look.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. There are so many. I think it's a toss-up between Dole Whip
Okay.
and a Disneyland churro.
Yes.
Not to be confused with the Disney World churro.
Disney World churros are no good.
One of those 2 answers is the correct one. I'm just
Okay.
just gonna say.
Dole Whip, for sure.
No, it's the churro. It's the churro. Okay, so
We are a house divided.
yeah, we are. And it's along that exact line right there, Dole Whip versus churro. So you're going to be in Disney World. I'm going to imagine you're going to be in Animal Kingdom, at least one of the days.
Yep.
Get yourself on the walk-up list at some point in the afternoon for Nomad Lounge,
Okay.
which is in Animal Kingdom. It's right next to Tiffin's restaurant. And sometimes the walk-up list can be a really long wait, and it's perfect because you just put yourself on the list from the app, go do something, and then you'll get called. You want the churros
Okay.
and a Congaloosh beer.
Okay.
And the churros are gluten-free, so they're healthy for you. There's carbs.
Like
none
what
of
you
that stuff
think.
counts. They're gluten-free,
Okay.
so it's
Okay.
perfect. It is the perfect Disney snack. If I could get a Congaloosh beer in Disneyland, they'd be tied. And the only reason I put Nomad Lounge ahead is because I can get both at the same time.
Okay.
It is
I'm
the
gonna check it
best churro on Disney World property.
It is.
Okay. But
Yeah.
is it as good as the Disneyland churro?
If not slightly better.
That's a no. Oh. Okay.
It's
Well, we're going to be right there because we're eating at Tiffin's our second day at that park.
perfect. So it is not a Disney World cart churro, which is, made in some central location and then exposed to heat and humidity as it sits in a cart, versus in California, it's a lot drier and they're cooking them there at the cart. These churros in Nomad are cooked on site right there. They're fresh, they're hot, they're amazing.
Yeah. If you're eating at
Okay.
Tiffin's, you may be able to get churros for dessert. I can't remember if they're on the menu there or not.
They share a kitchen, so you can
Yeah.
probably just ask.
Yeah, probably just ask.
I'm doing it.
All right. Excellent.
I'm on the dining plan, so I can do all the things.
go.
There you go. And even if you're not, you can spend an extra $5 or whatever.
Yep. For sure.
Send me the bill if you needed.
It's a write-off. It's okay.
There you go. Perfect. Even better. So, Sarah, how can people find you if they want to work with you?
That's a great question. So I have a Facebook. I'm Magical Adventures with Sara. I'm on Instagram as well, not as much. And I'm also on TikTok at Magical Adventures.
Awesome. And we will make sure that all those are in our show notes and tagged everywhere in our socials, so it can
You're
make
awesome. Thank
people
you.
find you a lot easier. So thank you so much, Sarah, for being on tonight. It's been great catching up with you.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been fun to see you guys. We moved 3 years ago. It's good to see your faces.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah, take care. Thank you.
Thanks, you too.
We are not affiliated with Disney or their subsidiaries. These are personal opinions and suggestions based on our own experiences. We recommend working with a travel agent, just like Sarah, or contacting Disney directly to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have questions or suggestions or would like to be interviewed on our show to share your Disney experience, please send an email to podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
Go ahead and follow us on social media. We're at Our Mousecapades on Instagram, Facebook, on Threads, on YouTube. We're all over the place.
Please give us a rating and review in your podcast app. It really helps people find us.
And of course, don't hesitate to share us with your friends and fellow Disney lovers of all ages.
Thank you for listening. We'll be in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.
These are our personal... Are they? These are our personal opinions and suggestions based on our own experiences. We recommend working with a travel agent.
You're adding words too.
I know.
It's just these are personal.
Oh, I don't think I ever caught that before.